am ready. I did not even announce I was going live. I just knew I've been wanting to go live since last week. This helps me not have to edit. And I saw the camera just glitch and I hope it didn't freeze. But yes, I'm going live because it helps me not have to edit. And I know this is a hot topic in real estate, the NAR settlement. And yeah, I was all caught up in the media and what everyone had to say about it last week. But I'm glad I actually sat on it, because my thoughts not have changed, but yeah, I'm going to share some things with you guys. So I know this title may be a little clickbaity, but yeah, I'm out. I'm not really out. I am pulling myself. I did have to pull myself out of the media and the haters, the comments, and all of that, and refocus my energy and thoughts on. Listen, this is BAU. Like, I know I provide value. I know I provide service. So I just had to refocus my thoughts. So yeah, I am coming to you. I know there are going to be other agents that are like, nah, I'm out, because this is going to affect a lot of the changes are going to affect people in different ways. But I'm just going to share this morning, or whenever you are watching it. Thank you for tuning in. Last week, as I was watching, different videos and reports and all that type of stuff, I was just taking notes. And so I have a checklist of different notes. I am going to start with like how it affects like consumers, the buyers, the sellers, and then I am going to go into talking to agents, because I am going to upload this on my agent only channel. So that will be towards the end, and I'll let you know like when I start talking more towards agents. So if you're a consumer, you can tap out if you'd like. So essentially the settlement, there's so many videos about this, but NAR agreed to a $418 million settlement. They don't acknowledge any wrongdoing, but they settled. Yeah. Now, the media, because the media always portrays, the truth and the full perspective, right? Now, that is not the case. A lot of what's in media is negative. And even outside of this, like, I don't watch the news like that. But I apologize. Yeah, I don't consume the news a lot because it's always negative. There are, glimmers of hope every now and then, but that's why I don't. And this was like no different. And then the comments, I say but whatever, you guys know me. I'm engaging more in social media, more so on TikTok. And TikTok, even on Instagram, the comments, you go into the comments, you are either going to be entertained or teed off. Thank goodness I'm able to resume. Okay, it cut out, came back in. But yeah, the comments can be crazy. And it was no different with this. I mean, there's always been people that don't find value in real estate agents. You're always going to have haters, and this just TI, bring them out, bring them out. They came out. So it didn't surprise me. Yeah, so that was that. As far as the changes that are coming, it still needs to be approved. This is still like they agreed, but it hasn't been signed off on. And now people are like figuring out like, how is this going to work? It still needs to be signed off on, but like real estate agents, brokerages, how is this going to work? How is this going to affect the market and the trickle down effect? They're still trying to figure that out. So a lot of what you hear is really speculation, but we'll see. And I want to say they have until July to implement. So it's BAU. I'm still working BAU. And also for me, like me and other agents that I know, all agents are not the same. All agents operate differently. I've done a lot of the things that they're requiring you to do anyway. So it's not that huge of a change in some areas. I've always had some policies in place, so it's not going to be that huge of a change for me in some areas, but for other agents, it's like, oh, okay, I need to change things, or I need to tighten up shop, or they're going to have to implement things, and also in different states. So there are 18 states that required agents to disclose brokerage, and brokerage means like how I'm working with someone as a client, a customer, the services I'm providing, like to talk to them about that. Georgia was one of them. Florida is not, for example. So that's why it's going to affect different states differently. Just to clarify, the real change comes in the decoupling of commissions, not the lowering of commissions. It's not all of a sudden this change came and, oh, commissions are now going to be lower. No, it's the decoupling. So when a buyer purchases a home, how it has been for a while, the seller agreed with their agent to pay a commission. And then that company, their listing agent, agreed to split that commission with the buyer. This is where the whole hoopla and everything came about. They no longer have to, are required to offer a big enough commission for them to split, or they can still offer that same commission and that company can decide to keep it for themselves. That's where they're still trying to figure out how that's going to go. But it's the decoupling of commissions. Sellers don't necessarily have to offer the buyer's agent a commission, full commission, whatever the commission is. Okay. How this negatively impacts the American dream and first-time home buyers. I do feel bad for traditional first-time home buyers. Traditional first-time home buyers, and why I say traditional is because I work with a lot of first-time home buyers that I don't consider traditional, because they are coming with savings, money, like they let's just say they were relocating from New York and they've just been working for years. They have some backing to them. So yeah, while they may be buying their first home, they're buying $500,000-$600,000 homes. So they're not your traditional first-time home buyer. For traditional first-time home buyers, they are scraping to save up their down payment. They're scraping to save up their closing costs. And now add on an additional cost. You may have to pay all of your agent's commission if you want to be represented, right? And that may take me to my next point. It's not there, but I'm gonna go there next. And you may say, well, I just won't have an agent represent me. You legit leave yourself at risk, because the listing agent represents the seller. You should have your own representation. And you can say, well, I've heard of people just going to the listing agent and, just working directly with them. You can, but understand that the listing agent is representing the seller as a client. They can represent you as a customer. They can't do both. They can't represent both people as a client. So they can explain, look out for the interest of everything for the client, but the customer, they can only fill out paperwork and do administrative work. So are they truly looking out for your interest if you go straight to the listing agent? No. If you feel as a buyer, well, I feel like I can do this on my own, more power to you, good luck, and you don't need an agent. I don't think that's wise, but to each his own. Like, you have to do what you believe is best for you. You see, I have on this shirt, Realtor. I'm proud to be a Realtor. I'm going to be proud to be a Realtor. I know I provide value, I provide service. Like, this is actually a closing gift that one of my clients got for me at closing because of the help and the service and the value that I provided them. So I know it's helpful. What I do is helpful. I was on a home buyer's consultation with someone last night, and she mentioned the first time she went to go buy a home, she went into new construction. The on-site agent, she was like, it just felt rushed. It felt like she was just, putting down paperwork and was like, well, here was your monthly payment's going to be. And then she was like, her and her husband, they like backed up. They were like, yeah, this is not how we want it to go. So fast forward several years later, they went slowly. They're doing things slow. and they feel good about it, and we're on this home buyers consultation and we're walking through the process. I'm guiding, I'm answering questions. So there's value there in working with an agent. So dual agency is when you represent both parties, but not all brokers allow you to do dual agencies. I don't see how you can represent both parties. Yeah, I'll keep my 2 cents on that one. All right, next up, I do also feel sorry, or I feel bad for VA buyers, because VA buyers are not allowed to pay their agents. I said allowed, but they're not. They're going to have to fix that or change something, because if this change comes through how they're saying the change is going to come through, and buyers are now going to have to pay a portion, some, all of, we'll see, to their agent, VA buyers, the way it's written, VA buyers aren't allowed to do so. So you just left VA buyers out there to hang. Like, that's just one thing I don't get. I don't get a lot of things, but this is one thing I don't get about veterans. They go out there, risk their life, do all they do for our country, and then they get shafted. Just essentially, they get shafted. And I'm speaking personally. I know this. I know this plight personally, and I've been to VA offices, and I see these people coming in for bags of medicine and all of that. But I'm gonna stay on topic. We talked about dual agency, and I'll say, as far as how it impacts the American dream, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but I feel like this is part of a bigger agenda to deter home buyers from purchasing homes, to make it harder for them. Even though they say this was in the interest of home ownership and for home buyers, I don't see how. So like, how? I feel like it's making it harder for them. But there is so much opportunity and wealth in real estate that, yeah, like, oh yeah, accessing this too much. Like this, I feel like this is just a bigger agenda to get people away from home ownership. Not to mention all these new construction rental communities. Come here and get comfortable in these new construction rental communities, because you'll never want to go buy your own home. But yeah, all these apartments but I'm gonna keep going. We talked about dual agency, how good agents provide value, spoke about that. But yeah, but let me not act like I am blind to the fact that all agents are great. I wrote a whole book about it called The Ugly Side of Real Estate. Not just about that topic, but just I wrote this book for the people, because there was a time, there's always going to be well, I don't know about always, but agents were seeing what they saw on social media. They were seeing what they saw on these TV shows, and they were like, real estate looks easy. I'll just get my real estate license. I've had people actually say that to me. I'll just get my real estate license, as if it's the easiest thing in the world. And I wrote that book like, listen, before you go ahead and quit your job and get into real estate, please understand like what this really looks like. So yeah, I know there are agents that got into this business with not the right intention, motive, not the right understanding, not understanding how to actually provide service, to build a business, to take care of people. So it is what it is. That's in every business. So I'm going to say that when I jump into talking to agents, I'll let you know. So if you're a consumer, you can, hop off. There have been some videos where people, some agents are like, this is a great change. I don't know if I feel like this is a great change, but you can find some good with, the only thing constant in life is change. This is not the first change in real estate. We're going to be all right. Like we're going to be all right. If you are truly vested in real estate, this is my 13th year at the time, as of today. Like, when it come through, like when I got licensed in a down market, and I figured if I could make it now in a down market, I'll be okay. And I remember getting into the market and hearing about the blowing and going times of real estate, how real estate used to be so great and how it used to be so easy and such and such. So I just feel like this is another change. While it may be a big change of whatever's to come, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna get through it. Like, there's an agent in my office, and I want to say he just celebrated his 80-something birthday. He has seen a lot of things in real estate. So if you are serious, I guess this will be more to agents. If you are serious and want to have a career in real estate, don't let this deter you. All right. You will make it and you will be all right. And we will navigate whatever changes come. All right. I already mentioned that there are some states that didn't require agency before, disclosing how you work with buyers. So I mentioned that already. One of the narratives out there is that sellers are going to save money. Okay. You could look at it that way, that if a seller decides, I am only going to pay my agent and I'm not going to offer any compensation to the buyer or to help the buyer or anything like that, you could look at it that way, but I think they're gonna be shooting themselves in the foot, because, okay, look at it this way: if people were charging for you to look at homes, right? You were selling a home and you started charging people to look at your home. How many people do you think will come into your home? No, nobody's paying to come to your house. A buyer is not paying to come to your home. However, if you pay people to come to your home, how many people do you think will come to your home? It would increase your chances. You would have a bigger pool. You would be able to offer, it's like more of an incentive, which is the same reason why they have bonuses, especially new construction. They offer bonuses here and there. It makes your home more marketable. So if you want to take the position, well, I'm not doing this, sellers just have to understand how that's going to affect them in the market. And then I guess it's going to be a case by case. It just depends on your house. It depends on how much competition you have. But I also want to compel sellers to remember when you bought your house and you didn't pay any commissions. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Or you didn't pay any commissions to your agent. Your agent's commissions were already paid for. You didn't have to bear that additional cost. So keep that in mind. Another thing that people keep bringing up is that, yes, the seller has the equity, but the seller has nothing if they don't have a buyer. It's the buyer coming to the table that is giving them the money to even make this transaction happen. So I truly believe wise sellers are going to still offer compensation. They can't it can't be disclosed in the MLS, but they can still offer compensation. So we're going to work through that, figure out how to do that. It's going to be on a, case by case basis, which leads me, I didn't talk about my thoughts on this whole thing. Yeah, I wasn't in the courtroom. I don't know the details of everything that went down. I think it sucks that agents pay into this organization called the National Association of Realtors, and we've been doing what they tell us to do this whole time, and they settled. And it does not look good. The media perception does not look good. So I do not like that because I pay into them every year, additional costs to be a part of their organization. So I don't like that. But I also know somebody that was sued, a close friend, and while she wanted to fight, she was like, the money was running out. So she needed to settle. So I also get that as well. But I do think they need to work on public perception because this just does not look good. Okay, so sellers, I've already talked about that. Lowering price. Another false narrative out there is this narrative that home prices are going to get lower now that they don't have commissions. Those two don't even go together. It's prime example, for sale by owner. If you ever went or looked into a for sale by owner. For sale by owners are priced at or above homes that are listed in the area. It's not like for sale by owners say, you know what? We're not paying an agent commission, so we're automatically going to offer, list the house for less. That's not how it works. So you think sellers are now all of a sudden going to be real generous with you and say, oh, because we're not, if they decide to go that route, because we're not going to pay a buyer's agent commission, we're going to lower the price of our house. Yeah, when pigs fly. Okay. Like I said, wise sellers are still going to offer some kind of agent compensation, or it's not the compensation, it's called concessions. They're calling it concessions. So it can go towards closing costs, your agent commission, it can go towards however. I will say here, I've mentioned it before, that I've already had policies and stuff in place, and it's already been written in the buyer brokerage in Georgia, that the agent's commission is X. If the commission received on this house is less than the agent's commission, the buyer agrees to pay it out of pocket. So this is not new. This is not something that's going to change in July. This has already been in existence. Whether agents enforced it or not has been on them. So the signs were there. It was coming. So I just want to share that. Is there anything else for the consumer? All right, we're going to move to more so talking to agents. So if you're a consumer, you may want to tap out. I'm also going to upload this on my agent only channel, Nat Knows Real Estate. So like I mentioned, there are videos out there that are like, this is gloom and doom, or it's opportunity. Be mindful, agents. I talk about this on my agent only channel. Like, if you want to be successful in this business, you have to watch who you associate with, who you operate around, who you have in your circle. So if you consume media, gloom and doom, if you just stay in the comments of watching all these people like, realtors need to go away, realtors aren't worth it, yeah, okay, that's going to drag you down. So when I say I'm out, like, I'm out of consuming negativity. Like, I had to just go back, like, stay the focus. The same goals I had beginning of the year is the same things I'm working on still. It is still BAU, so just keep that in mind. All right. Will agents leave the business? Yes. That is an emphatic yes. Some agents are going to leave the business. One of the videos I watched from Greg Luther, I think that's his name. And if you're not a part of our agent only Facebook group called Better Connected in Real Estate on Facebook, I posted some videos in there. He said it was speculated that 1 million agents are going to leave the business. He said he thinks it's more like 500,000 are going to leave the business. But I just think purely agents are going to leave the business. One, because of the reason why I wrote this book, like, agents got into it thinking like, oh, it's going to be the easiest thing. There's no work involved, such and such and such. Yeah, they're going to realize, yeah, this is not the case. It was agents that were struggling before. Like, now it's like a dice roll, whether I'm going to get paid or how much I'm going to get paid from the seller, if anything. And if you're focusing on traditional first-time home buyers, yeah, that's the part I don't like about this. That is the part I do not like about this. Hope some consumers are still on, is that it opens the door for discrimination. It opens the door, and what I mean by discrimination is, what if I call an agent? Let's just say the agent doesn't care for me, doesn't care for my voice, doesn't care for my look, doesn't care that I'm a woman, doesn't care for me for whatever reason. We worked together on a previous transaction, and they just don't like me. And they tell me that my seller is only paying 1% to buyer's agent's commission. So now my client has to come up with 2%, let's just say, to cover the cost. But then their friend calls them, or somebody that they like better, and they ask them, well, how much is commission going to be? And they tell them it's 3%. And their client doesn't have to come up with anything. I just feel like this lawsuit opened the door for that kind of foolery and foolishness. Before, it was upfront, it was stated, you saw it in there, what it was going to be. And to be honest with you, while there's people out here that don't think agents do work, that is not true. If you watch my videos, if you go to my agent only channel, you see the things that we go through. Like, if a transaction is smooth sailing, that is rare. So rare, right? That is a gem. So I already felt like real estate is hard enough. Then now I got to wonder and see if the person I'm dealing with is upstanding, or is the age. Now I just feel like it's a dice roll on if I'm gonna get paid or not. And I'm to be honest with you, while I love this business, this is not a business that I'd be willing to do for free. This is not work that I'd be willing to do for free. So I feel like this just muddied the water. Another example, Well, I said, you got good agents, you have bad agents, or not so great agents. Just like how you have good people and not good people. I once worked with an agent, and we were trying to get this deal done, and we were close to closing, and it was a lease purchase deal, and the company required that the septic tank be repaired. The agent and I spoke. He was like, will you agree to split the cost of the septic tank repair with me? I agreed. I agreed to split the cost. So let's say it was like $1,500 each that we were going to pay to get the repairs that were done. So when I got my closing, it's like the instructions to the closing attorney of how much your commission is going to be. It shows what the listing agent is going to get, what the buyer's agent is going to get. I noticed that the money was only taken out of my side, not his. And when I called him, he was like, well, basically you agreed to it. He was just unscrupulous. And he was that way. Well, yeah, he really showed himself. Like I tried to work with him, but he showed himself. And that was just so underhanded to me. And then he was a broker. So who was I going to complain to? Because he was the broker. So imagine somebody like this now having free reign to just do whatever the heck they want to do when it comes to him having a home that's listed and deciding he might collect a darn 8% commission from the seller and say, I'm paying $100 to the buyer's agent. Because that is what this has opened up. And I see a question, and I'm going to try to bring it up on my laptop. I really didn't expect anyone to join in, but I do appreciate you for joining in. But I really just wanted to just get out my thoughts as I've been consuming this information, and I make videos on everything else. And I went the live route, so I did not have to, edit. All right, so let me see. How do I see this comment that somebody has left me? Bear with me for 1 second. View my channel. Because I'm doing this on my phone, so I'm going to try to bring it up on my laptop and see if I'm able to see your question. I am. Okay. All right. Ms. Green. Hey, Sharita. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning to you, Ms. Greenwood. Good morning. Do you know how far back they are going to reimburse sellers for the commissions that were paid out, or if there's a statute of limitation date? So I think this is very unfair to the buyer. Okay, so to answer your first question, do I know how far they're going to pay out? So if you're referring to the $418 million settlement, I'm going to tell you what I've been getting is that the majority of that money is going to lawyers. And then I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard like once they break down to parties that have been sued, they get like 20 something dollars. I don't know that 20 something dollars is really true, but they're not walking away with millions. I know that for sure. Yeah, reimburse sellers for commissions that were paid out. What would they be reimbursing them for? And I guess my question is, when I say that, what would they be reimbursing them for? I want to feel like, I'm thinking as I'm talking, because it's on a case-by-case basis, right? Unless they did something wrong, but let's just, for me, for example, I go to list a house. This is the commission, and the seller knows I'm splitting this with the agent. So the seller knew that's what was going to happen, that I was splitting it with the agent. So I know in this lawsuit, or they said that they accused NAR of like price fixing, like it had to be 6%. But for a while now, we've seen it's been 5 or it's been 2.5. It's kind of just depended on, what was going in the market. So I guess that's the part I'm not clear of, like when they decide to reimburse, like what? It's not like you're going to say, well, it should have only been 5. Like who determined it? You and your agent agreed to that when you sat down. So that's the part where I'm not clear on that one. I think it's very unfair to the buyer's agent. In my opinion, you/they do a lot more work than the seller's agent. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. And that's the other thing that they're, that is going out a lot. Like agents, you have to show what you do. You have to show your value. You have to. And I'm like, I've been doing that. Well, thankfully, and I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm like, yeah, because people thought we ain't do anything. Because I wrote this book, like, man, I done brought home fleas out here doing this business of real estate. I done worked with somebody for months and then decide, I just changed my mind. Or my cousin sells real estate. I decided to use her. Like, would you work for free? Would you feel good if that happened to you? No. And then also, like, I had a case where the buyer was trying to buy a home and the appraiser came and the appraiser was on one. And he said he did not believe with what was going on with home values. He refused to use the comps that were next door. The exact same home was a comp next door or any comps in the neighborhood. And he valued the home, I want to say it was $95,000 below. It was between 70 and 95. I know I have that in the video. And he refused. So this is going to tank the loan. I went back to the lender that the buyers were using, and the lender was like, yeah, there ain't nothing we can do about it. There are supposed to be things that they can do about it, but this lender, which is why I say it's important, the lenders that you use, they said they can't do anything about it. I got them to another lender. Shout out to Kathy, because this is not easy to do on an FHA loan. She got that FHA loan thrown out and was able to get a new appraisal order, which is not something that's easy to do. Meanwhile, they are relocating from up north to Georgia, I want to say with 5 kids. So this is not something, if you say, well, I don't need an agent. Like, how are you handling that by yourself if you're not using an agent? Like, it's all good until it's not. All right. Sad to hear about Crooked Bro. Yeah. Thank you. I understand the payout makes sense, but everybody doesn't, and I get it. I mean, I get it because you always gonna have people that just don't agree or whatever. I am not about to change my focus and go and respond to everybody in the comments and realtors are great, realtors. I'm not gonna put my energy and my time in that. But what I will continue to do is provide education and resources for people that are looking to buy, sell, relocate, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna stay the course, keep doing what I do, and everything's gonna work out. That's what I believe. So a few more things. We talked about agents leaving the business. Some just are. Should aspiring agents join the business? I will still say yes. I still believe in real estate. All things real estate. I still believe you can, you provide value to people. It can be a great career, but you have to be serious about it. Like, this requires work. It required work before, and it's going to require work now. You're going to have to really showcase yourself. Why should somebody want to work with you? You're really going to have to be vested in this thing. So yes, I do still think if you are serious and want to get into business of real estate, go ahead. I wouldn't say just jump out there full Monty and just say, quit my job, let me join real estate. Even though there are a lot of companies, coaches that will tell you need to go into this thing full time. I get that, but you need to have a plan and a savings in place before you just jump out there. Check out my agent only channel, Nat Knows Real Estate, buy my book, available on Amazon. Just to get more insight before you make a commitment like that. You could even think of, okay, well, I'll join a team to like get my feet wet. Like, you just really need to have a plan. You're coming into this thing, this business of real estate. You needed one before, you're definitely gonna need one now. If there are some agents that are out there now, like, I'm not gonna work with buyers, because that's kind of where that's where the hardest part is going to be, because the listing agent is the one that's going to control the commission, right? So you might have agents out here thinking, well, let me just tell you this. In real estate, they always tell you listings are lasting. You need to go after listing. You need to work with sellers. 1, because you're in more control, and 2, because you can work with more sellers than you can work with buyers. You can have like 10 properties listed for sale at the same time. You cannot actively run around with 10 buyers. The wear and tear, that it just requires a lot more from you. working with buyers. So if there's agents that say, well, I'm just going to go after listings, we already had a listing shortage. I don't see how that, I mean, go after listings. Just do that as a business strategy, but it's not realistic to think that you're never going to work with buyers. So agents, you're going to have to adjust and figure out your business and how you're going to go forward. And I want to say that that is it. I feel like there is something in the back of my mind that I wanted to say. Oh, I have a question for you guys. And this is a thought. My question is, do you think that the flossy, extravagant agent era, I say era, but you know it's out there, right? The lifestyle, the $1 million agents, the shows on TV, the agents closing and giving gifts with Louis Vuitton and all the designer bags. Do you think that rubbed people the wrong way? I kind of think it did. I get you work with luxury clients, you're going to give luxury gifts. I get it if that's your, I get it on one hand that that's your brand, that's your market. But then I also get that it gave people the impression that, oh, that's all they do is show up to closing and they don't do anything. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. To each his own. Do you? But yeah, I'm gonna sign out here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope all is well. Like I said, we're gonna be all right. We are gonna be all right. First time home buyers, stay in there. Stay in there. When I tell you I believe in the power of real estate, I work with so many people. You buy a home, you just thinking I'm just buying a place to live, and it turns out to be an it's an investment. You decide 5, 10 years down the line, I'm going to sell this home. I need to send my kids to college. I need to take care of a parent. I need to downsize. And I'm going to take this money, this nest egg now that I've gotten because I invested in real estate years ago. Or I'm going to hold on to this property and I'm going to hold it as an investment property. I'm going to turn this into a rental and I'm going to buy a bigger home. I'm going to buy another home. Like there's so much wealth and opportunity that comes in owning real estate. So I know this feels like another blow. You already got high home prices. You already have high interest rates. Stay the course. Stay the course, and it is going to work out. And just make sure the agent that you are working with is providing value to you, and that you have a plan, that you have somebody guiding you along the way, and not just social media smart. Let's just say that. All right, so I'm tuning out here. Have a wonderful day. Have a positive, peaceful, and productive day. And don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. My Calendly link is calendly.com/sold-by-Nat, CALENDYLY.com/sold-by-Nat. All right,